Welcome to EV Intuition. Hi, my name is John. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a major reason and advantage that riders and owners of electric vehicles have, and that is the ride. Many people have found that the ride in an electric vehicle is a much more compelling experience than that of internal combustion vehicles. So let's find out the reasons behind that. Now, there are many advantages to owning an electric vehicle, and we're going to cover these in future videos. But some of these include home charging convenience, lower cost of energy, lower maintenance, better reliability, more environmentally friendly, advanced technology. But for today, we're going to cover just better ride. I remember the first time I ran into an electric vehicle owner, and the first thing he raved about was, you've got to experience the drive and the ride in an electric vehicle. And what this I found came down to is several things. The first thing that you'll experience is the quick acceleration in electric vehicles. Now, electric vehicles are run by electric motors, and they have a property that is different than internal combustion engines found in gas vehicles. That property is that they have maximum torque, or the ability to propel the car forward at 0 miles per hour. And that gives you that quick acceleration. Most electric vehicles can go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in less than 6 seconds. And you typically find those type of specs in internal combustion vehicles on performance vehicles and higher priced internal combustion engine vehicles. But they're pretty much a main property of electric vehicles. Now, the second thing I wanted to point out about the advantage of an electric vehicle ride is its smooth acceleration. Now, where's that smooth acceleration come from? Well, it comes from the fact that electrical vehicles or electric vehicle motors only have a single gear, unlike their gasoline counterparts which have multiple gears. And so with a single gear, there is no shifting. And the biggest interruptions in acceleration that you find in gas vehicles is when the gear shifts, when your automatic transmission shifts from one gear to the other. And this is more noticeable when you're going up a hill, as a gas vehicle has to downshift, and you feel that sometimes that lag that pushes you as the vehicle slows down as it goes into a lower gear. You will not find this in an electric vehicle. It just goes smoothly up and down hills, and that gives you a better ride experience. The third advantage of the ride in electric vehicles is how quiet they are. Now, if you're a performance enthusiast or a person with a hot rod, I know that part of the feel that you want to show out there on the road is how loud your vehicle is, because you want to have people hear you come down the road. Well, that's not an advantage to you having an electric vehicle, because you can't do that. But I would say that most people enjoy a quiet ride, and that's what electric vehicles offer. So how do they do that, and why is it? Well, everybody knows that an internal combustion engine is very noisy due to the explosion that takes place in the cylinder, where a fuel and air mixture is ignited with a spark, and that causes the piston to move. And with multiple piston, that's causing a lot of noise. And there's various components in an internal combustion vehicle to dampen the noise, from insulation in the cabin to a muffler to other aspects to keep the noise of that vehicle down. Well, you don't need that in an electric vehicle. An electric motor is essentially a coil of wire spinning along a shaft, and that doesn't produce a lot of noise. And in fact, as the motor spins faster, has more revolutions per minute, there isn't a very large amount of difference in noise that comes from the electric motor. So you won't notice a motor noise difference going 10 miles an hour versus 70. And in fact, electric vehicles have been so quiet that they've had to add noise to them to make them safe, because it has become a safety issue with electric vehicles. Some of the early electric vehicles like Tesla used to be able to just go down the road so quietly that you would not know a car is approaching you. And so since that time, manufacturers have added a noise to the vehicle to make sure that people hear the vehicle coming. But overall, the vehicle is still much more quieter than an internal combustion vehicle. And in fact, one of the other features of an electric vehicle is that very often the tires have had to have insulation put in them, because in internal combustion engine, the engine noise used to drown out the noise that the tires would produce on the road. Now, without that engine noise in an electric vehicle, you could hear more of the rolling noise from the electric vehicle tires. So tire manufacturers have had to make tires that actually insulate some of that tires in order to dampen the noise of an electric vehicle. But the key thing is, an electric vehicle is much more quieter than an internal combustion vehicle, and people really enjoyed that ride experience. Another advantage that people like about the ride is the braking options that are found on electric vehicles. Now, electric vehicles take advantage of the spinning of the motor to regenerate electricity when slowing the vehicle down. This is often referred to as regenerative braking. Regenerative braking takes some of the energy used to propel the car forward and return it back to the battery. Now, how this manifests itself is into several different modes of braking that exist on electric vehicles. One of the more popular aspects of that today is what's referred to as one-pedal driving. Now, I was a gas vehicle driver who used to like to coast down hills and coast into a stop and then gently apply my brakes. Now, I've gotten used to this one-pedal drive feature of my Tesla, and what this does is, as I press on the accelerator, it goes forward, and the harder I press, the faster it goes. But as I release the accelerator pedal, the engine slows itself down without using brake pads. And this helps return some of that energy that is in the in the motor, back to the battery. But it also slows the vehicle down without using the brake pads. And so for most of the time, I would say about 90% of the time, my foot is just on the accelerator, and I very rarely use the brake to slow myself down. Now, the brake is there if I need to stop quickly, but in general, if I see a car slowing down in front of me, I just release the accelerator pedal to the degree I need to slow down. The quicker I release the accelerator pedal, the quicker the vehicle slows down. And I've gotten used to this, and I really actually enjoy it. And I find it actually safer that if you had to quickly remove your foot from the accelerator pedal to the brake, it's actually starting to slow the vehicle down as soon as you release the accelerator and before you get to putting your foot on the brake. So I find that electric vehicles are much more easier to slow down than gas vehicles. One other aspect of braking in an electric vehicle that I wanted to point out is this feature called auto brake hold. Auto brake hold is a feature that allows you, when you stop the electric vehicle at a stop sign or a traffic light, is to release your foot from the pedal, the brake pedal, and rest it while the light stays red or while you have to stay stopped. So the auto brake hold is a nice feature out there that adds to the convenience and comfort of riding an electric vehicle. One other aspect of electric vehicles that improves the ride is the weight of an electric vehicle. Now you may say, but aren't electric vehicles heavier than cars? And yes, they are. But it's the weight that gives you an advantage of a lower center of gravity of the vehicle. Well, you're aware that a big portion of the weight of an electric vehicle is due to the battery pack. And the battery pack is mounted underneath the seats within the cabin of an electric vehicle. And that makes the center of gravity of that vehicle much lower. You may be aware that performance cars, like a Porsche 911, has a lower center of gravity. Why? Because the vehicle is very low to the ground. Okay, so the advantage of a lower center of gravity is that it makes the car handle better, especially around turns. It gives it much more stability as all four wheels stay on the road surface. So this reduces greatly the chance of an electric vehicle having a rollover. So this lower center of gravity is an advantage. The other advantage of having weight in an electric vehicle happens in the parts of the country where you have snow. The additional weight makes the car get more traction on the snow. So there's yet another advantage of the weight of an electric vehicle. The next thing that I find about the ride within an electric vehicle is that it has very little vibration. I've ridden in many gas vehicles, as I'm sure you have, and sometimes you can feel the engine's vibration in the steering wheel or in your seat. Now, obviously, if you've got a nicely tuned, expensive automobile, it wouldn't do that. But many vehicles experience that type of vibration throughout the car. You won't find that in an electric vehicle, and that adds to the comfort and convenience of an electrical vehicle ride. Now, the last thing that I'll mention about a ride has very little to do about the ride itself, and that is that you won't have any fumes to breathe in. Now, I know that's not going to affect your ride from a comfort level as far as your body, but I'm one who doesn't like the smell of gas fumes. So I like the idea that as I'm driving or as I'm idling, if I have the windows open, that there are no fumes going back into the cabin where I'm driving. To me, that adds up to a much more satisfactory driving experience. Thanks for watching this video today on the advantages of electric vehicle rides. If you like the content, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have future videos on other advantages of electric vehicles, along with their disadvantages. If you have any comments, please include them below. But we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.